So you have your image created. Great. You've it saved as a PNG, hopefully on your desktop or somewhere where you can access it. We're going to bring it into Unity. So we're going to go to desktop, what I call it, health.png. I'm going to drag it in just like I did with the white guy. So I can see it show up here. And then I can drag it in. And bingo, away we go. So I'm going to scale this up. I'm going to use it uniformly. So I have it set on the kind of multi-select tool at the top here. And I'm holding down the shift key. And that means that the X and the Y axis will be scaled together. They'll be locked in whatever kind of ratio or aspect scale they kind of assign to it. So there's my health. I can click on play just to see what it looks like. Bingo. And you should be able to see whatever sprite you created there then as well. So those are static images, what we have created. So typically in games, we would actually use two types of sprites. We would have like static ones like we see here, and then we'd also have animated ones. Now when we're doing animated ones, the animations are typically stored in a single file together, known as an animation sprite sheet. We can also store static frames in there then as well. So we're going to take a look at creating one of these in a tool and then bringing it in and maybe being able to selectively take some frames out and maybe then how to play a full animation for it then as well. So the tool is provided in the description to the download. It's called Piskel. It has an online version you can use in a browser, and then it also has a version you can download onto your Windows PC, your Mac, or your Linux machine then as well. So I do have a pin to the taskbar, so you can go and download the version or whatever you want to use. So I'm going to maximize it, and we're going to see what we're provided with here. So one thing I want to change, I'm going to say kind of starting off, is the resolution is probably pretty small for it. I wonder, is there any way to change this? Here we go, 32. I want to make it say 64. Okay, I want to make it a little bit bigger. And I'm going to change my default down here then as well. Set as default. So this is kind of similar to Paint.net. We have our tools over on the left-hand side here. So we got a paint tool, we got a mirror, we got a paint bucket, eraser, stroke tool, different rectangles and circles and selection tools then as well. I'm going to keep it kind of simple. I'm going to keep it pretty much exactly the same image that I had done previously in Paint.net, but I want to animate the kind of cross symbol in the very, very center. So I'm going to make the background white. So I've selected my paint bucket. I'll change my color to white, and I'm going to click in here. I'm then going to go my rectangle tool, and we had a red picked, so I'm just going to pick red, and we'll kind of draw it up. So I'm keeping 2 white pixels on the very, very outside, and then I'm going to fill in that central space here. So we'll say this is our first frame. There's nothing showing up on it. I can see up the very, very top here. There's this guy. That is showing the frame that we're currently editing. Unfortunately, I made it red, so that cursor now disappears every time. But we're going to use this guy to add new frames, and there's also going to be 2 options available to us. I'm going to click on it. One called duplicate, and one called delete. So the duplicate one could be very, very, very useful. So I want to duplicate this guy. So if I hover over it, I can see duplicate this frame. So I'm going to click on that button, and it's now giving me an exact copy of the previous frame that I'd selected. So what I'm going to do first here probably is actually do the final one. So what it's going to look like at the very, very end. So I'm going to select white as my color, and maybe we'll do it with rectangles. So that's 3 away from the bottom, 3 away from the top, somewhere close to that. Doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm going to fill that in. Oh, that looks terrible when it's animating up the top. That's way too... I'll go straight lines. Okay, keep it nice and simple. Okay, that'll be my last frame. I can actually probably make that a little bit smaller. So this must be, it's looking very religious. It's just supposed to be like a health pick up for anyone wondering. So we'll come down here, and we're just going to work my way backwards from this. So I'm going to drag it back up, and I'm just going to take away 1 square, maybe from the outside each time. So I'll duplicate it again, go back 1, remove each of the corners, Okay, keep removing them back. So it's getting smaller each time. And we're going to have to take a big chunk off it here. Oop, that has gotten out of order. You should be up here. There we go. Do one more like that. So we move in, get a little bit bigger, a little bit more bigger. There's absolutely no change between those ones. So that'll be okay. So we can see our preview up the top right hand corner of it kind of going on. If we want to kind of extend this and make it maybe that make the end of it last a little bit longer. So you can see it animating up and then it kind of sticks with us. Now you can do this in Unity if you wanted to control the length of frames and that kind of stuff, but we can just do it here, starting off easily. And then I'm just going to show you how we can kind of save this. So you can do loads of crazy stuff inside here with all the different tools. You can create characters and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to export this. So I'm going to say export. It'll have PNG, it'll have GIF, a zip, and a few other sections. We want the PNGs, as we just did with Paint on Net, and explained why we want them. We're going to let it pick how many columns that we want. We don't really care. It's how it's going to lay these out. So we can see all our individual frames on the left. It's going to take all of those, put them into one single image, and then we're going to bring that into Unity. So we're going to click on Add Download for that first one. And I'm going to call it health_sheet. I'm saving that on my desktop. And we can see that it's saving as a PNG for us. So we can just click on Save. And so you can save this then as well, the project, if you want to kind of keep it. You can just pick where you want to save that and whatever location that you want and that kind of stuff for your Biscuit kind of stuff. I'm going to happy, I'm going to quit it. And at that point, I'm going to ask you to maybe go and create an animated GIF an animated sprite of a health kind of pickup or whatever you had created originally. Can you recreate that now with some form of animation to it to make it a little bit more live and appealing to kind of look at? So have a go with it.